Hey, you know what else has been hot? The conversations coming out of South Florida. You know what I'm talking about. All week long, we've been hearing about the Tua comments. There were the Flores responses. Let's get a listen so we could get everybody who may have not heard what Tua had to say and what Coach Brian Flores had to say in response to it during the course of the week. And I'd love to get your take on your reactions to it. Here's Tua and what he had to say about his former coach, Brian Flores.
To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you sucked at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. How would it make you feel listening to one or the other? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad, and you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And it was basically been, 2 years of training that out of not just me, but, a couple of the guys as well that have been here since my rookie year all the way till now.
All right, that was pretty interesting. Now, here's what Brian Flores had to say after he was asked about this said statement from the quarterback, Tua.
Specific to, the comments that were made by Tua, I just want to say, look, I'm genuinely happy for the success that Tua's had, and I really wish him nothing but the best. And, I think, player relationships are very important to me. I think that's kind of the foundation of coaching. Look, I'm human, so that hit me in a way that, I wouldn't say it was, positive for me. But at the same time, I've got to use that and say, hey, how can I grow from that? How can I be better? Do I feel like, that's me? No.
All right, TJ, I had two takeaways before I let you have it. One, with what Tua said, it was interesting. He said, being told something to you that you don't want to hear. I heard that. I heard horrible person. From Flores, I heard no apology. There was no, I regret. I didn't mean what I said. I could have handled it in a different way, in the way that I said it. There was no apologies. It was just that I can get better. I can learn from it. And I thought those were the things that stood out to me. Is it sounds as though Flores meant everything that he said to Tua. And it sounds as though Tua really needed a different type of leadership that was going to mold him, not the hard-nosed old school way of leading, but maybe the new school way of going at things. What was your take on what you heard?
Man, this here is a lot to unpack. I know both Tua and Brian Flores. I'm not going to say I talk to them on a regular basis because I do not, but I've had more than one conversation with both. Tua is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. And for the most part, that Polynesian culture, that's just how they are. They're
nice people. Yeah, they are nice people.
They are nice human beings.
Yes, very family-oriented.
Yeah, and so let's start with Tua. When you hear somebody telling you, you suck, you're not good, you shouldn't be here, we actually should have it. After a while, it's like, bro, like what have I done to you? Like, I haven't done anything to you for you to continuously talk to me like this, for you to continuously put me down and mess with my confidence. You go to Brian Flores. Brian Flores coached under Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, from what we've heard, did this to Tom Brady all the time. But Tom Brady is wired differently. Tom Brady could take it. Tom Brady was able to use that as motivation. And it was like, oh, this is what you think about me?
Okay,
I got you.
I'll show you.
I'm going to show you everything you just said is 100% completely wrong. Tom Brady could handle that.
That is a toxic relationship, though, TJ.
Tua couldn't handle it. So this is what happened, though. Glad you brought that up. Relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Tua was in a verbally abusive relationship with Brian Flores. He gets out of that verbally abusive relationship and gets with Mike McDaniel. That is nowhere near that. It's a verbally positive relationship. And Tua's sitting here like, wow, this is how it is to be in a relationship with someone that treats you the way they would like to be treated, as opposed to all the put downs and the negativity and the stomping on my head, so to speak. I got to speak out about this. And so I just feel like Brian Flores was coaching Tua the way that he saw Belichick coach Brady. And you can't do that. Like, as a coach, I've always looked at it as you teach guys, but more than anything, you're a psychologist. If I'm a psychologist, I'm not going to approach you the same way that I approach Plaxico or the same way, whoever. You just, because everybody is different, so you handle it case by case, that person. Mm-hmm. And so I don't understand how Brian Flores didn't get that, but when Tua said what he said, he had to reflect on it and say, wow, he could have denied it. He could have said he accepted it. And yeah, he didn't apologize, but he basically said, I'm sorry, without saying I'm sorry. Like, I have to reflect on this. I have to basically take a look in the mirror and say, I got to be better. Because if Tua felt that way and I made him feel that way, I'm wrong.
All right, let me jump in on you right there, because I'm glad you said that. Is that based upon him having a genuineness of being sorry, or is that based off of him addressing something that I think anyone who would be advising Brian Flores, or even his own self-advisory to himself, you're talking about the opportunity of trying to get another head coaching job, right? You got to address it, because if you're talking about a guy who's playing at a franchise level, a caliber level at this point, just gets a big re-up contract, and you couldn't get that out of him, which, by the way, Flores was a winning coach. Miami has not done better without Flores as the coach. They were one game better in the best season that Mike McDaniel has had, and we should be clear on that.
They've done better.
They made it to the playoffs.
They've done better just because the environment. LaVar, we're players.
Okay, LaVar, but we're basing it off of numbers.
If Brian Flores talked to you how he talked to Tua, it'd be a problem.
I've had that happen.
But
you know what happened?
If it's constant.
I had that happen. You know what happened? I told that man what I told him. I told him, if you talk to me like that again,
exactly,
I'm going to hurt you.
Exactly.
Like, and I mean, I'm really, like, I looked at him in his eyes and I pierced his soul and his spirit. I told Dale Lindsey straight out, old man, if you talk to me like that one more time, I will hurt you. And I walked away. And you know what, TJ? That man never spoke to me another day in my life. And we had games. And listen, we had games left, and I had ended up getting my starting job back. And he spoke to me and coached me through Warwick Holtman. He talked to Warwick. He coached Warwick. My film would be up on the screen, TJ, and he's talking to Warwick Holtman and making the corrections with Warwick Holtman.